Good morning, everybody. It's like around 25 degrees, positive 25 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's quite chilly, and it's made everything kind of electrified. So excuse the hair. I have brushed it and brushed it and brushed it. It's got a mind of its own. I came on. I saw that Mary was not coming on. She's prepping to go pick up those law books that she's getting today. So I said, well, I'll pop on and I'll do my Friday sews and I'll do my Wheel of Fate, fabric Wheel of Fate, but mine's actually a works in progress Wheel of Fate. So I wanted to show in this video my finishes for this week. So I finished from week 1. I finished my kind of granny gown. I don't have the pattern, or I'd let you know what pattern it was, and I put the patterns up. So sorry, I can't tell you what pattern it is. I think this one was a simplicity pattern. And I have modified it. You're supposed to put elastic in the arms. I can't stand elastic on my arms, especially to sleep. So I just put some loose fitting armbands. I had cut, I think, 6 inches off the bottom, and it's still right at my ankles. So it was okay to rob the bottom of the skirt to get my armbands. And I really like this finish on here. And Howard, my big cat, he's been utilizing Gretchen and the nightgown. He hides under the skirt, and then when Tippy and Callie come by, he comes out, he goes, ah, and, scares them and then jumps on them. So yeah, Howard has enjoyed that. And then from the new wheel, we pulled bag 18, which was 2 sets of little boys' PJs. And one was nearly finished. That was this one. And so I just had to hem it and put the buttons and the buttonholes on it. And I had to put the elastic in the little pants. And they're here. I'll pull a pair off here. So it's just little pants for a little guy, because this is a size 3. Both of these pairs were size 3. And this one has the helicopters on it, which I thought was really cute. And then on this one, I did a rookie error and I messed things up, but I think I've rescued it. I used some really thick or wide hem tape that I'd picked up at a Goodwill. And so I fixed that. So it's hemmed and it's at the right length and everything. So that was a save. So if you mess up, put your thinking cap on. Think about what you have in your stash that you could fix it with. Hem tape really helps you rescue a lot of things. If you've cut something or you've already trimmed a seam, you can get length back by using the hem tape. Because you just open up one edge of the hem tape and attach it to the project, and then you just fold it up so that the other side of the hem tape can be sewn flat. So see, let's see. You attach it at the bottom, then you fold it to the inside so that its other tab is here, and then you just pin it down good and stitch it around. So that one, I had a faux pas, but I managed to save it. So that's Jammies number 2. And then the last little set, I'm just going to leave it on the hanger. It's the same top and pattern. Hi, Janet. And each of the little nighties have a little pocket so they can put a car or, whatever. I had a niece that she would hide food, so she would put crackers in her pocket. And then again, it has matching pants under there. So if anybody knows some little guy that wears a size 3, get with me and we'll talk about it. And so as soon as I had finished these two PJs, I was going to do another draw from our new wheel, but the duplicate pattern came in for the 2 little dresses that were in the last bag from week 1. So I'm going to work on those today. In fact, the first dress was completed. All it needs is the sleeves put on the matching jacket. So that'll be a quick finish. This is the dress, and they're both size 8 little girls' dresses. They'd be really lovely as flower girl dresses. If somebody's getting married and needs a flower girl dress, these are really cute. I will be washing all of this stuff when it's finished because it's been in storage for 10 to 20 years. So everything will get washed and cleaned. And I'm putting everything that I've made that I need to find homes for into, once they're clean, I fold them nice and careful. I label the pattern and the size that I made. And so each dress will go into a bag with its jacket. So I'm going to finish the jacket for this. But then I was thinking, if I finish those today and want to sew over the weekend, I would like to go ahead and do another spin of my wheel so that I can just open the next bag. So I was going to do a spin with you guys so we can pull one of the bags from the current wheel. Oh, I see Anne Marie is live too on Instagram. But because I want to keep going with working my way through this bin, because once I get this bin empty, I can start sewing Project Dresser Girl dresses, and I'll just put them in that empty bin and be good to go. And I'm hoping I have not caught the flu from Greg. Random number spinner. I'm hoping my spinner is still full of the numbers I had. Let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, we got to just remove number 18. Let me move. Exclude 18. So now that should not be on there. Okay. All right. So see if you guys can see it. And then we'll hit the spin. And the spin is number 10. I had my toes and fingers crossed so that it wasn't bag 19, because bag 19 is just 2 more pairs of pajamas, and I'm ready for something different. So we're going to do number 10 this week. So we'll cross number 10 off here and then remove that choice. And hopefully that'll keep that for the next time. So number 10. Oh, it's a sewing machine cover. Now, this cover is a pattern that I bought years ago. I do know that Closet Core Patterns has a free sewing machine cover pattern. If you want to make a sewing machine cover, you can get it from there. And I'm going to go on there at some point and print the sewing machine, or see if I can find my copy first off. But I'm going to change the measurements so I can make a fabric cover for my serger. But this one will fit one of the other sewing machines. But it's a Butterick 5506. And it's that sewing machine cover right there. So I don't know if you guys want to do this as a sew along where we get together and sew it, because not everybody's going to have this pattern, but the project will be pretty similar. Let me show you the components to it. There's the instructions. Let me make sure I haven't lost any instructions. That would stink. It says pages 3 and 4. I hope I haven't accidentally lost. Well, there's no other instructions in the envelope, I don't think, or is there? Yes, there is. So I at least have not lost the instructions. I know you've been waiting for this sewing machine cover. That's why I'm wondering if we need to do it as a sew along together. It would be like an all day thing or several hours. Let me show you the pieces. This is the front and the back, which you cut on a fold. And so I think what I have is, yeah, you cut two of the fabric on the fold, and then you have a contrast. So this is the contrast. And this is actually what will show on the outside. This is the two that were for the outside here. Let me see what I've got here. Here we go. So when you open them up, this one's going to look like owl eyes when I do it. So I'll have an owl cover looking thing. Oh, you could. Janet, I'll send you a link to that free sewing machine cover because it's very similar to this one and it's super easy to make. I think the free one, let me show you what the free one looks like because it's what's on my sewing machine right now. The pocket is full of projects I need to get to. But the free one does this. So you end up with this lovely pocket. Let me pull this stuff out of here. All right, so you have a beautiful pocket. So you can cover your machine and then you can put your current project in here. And you can alter these to fit any size sewing machine. And it's nice and wide. I love this free pattern. I wish I could still get this fabric. You see, it's cats in a sewing room. Yeah, but this is really quite easy. And this one I lined with paw prints. So they're fully lined. And it just slides over the top. Keeps the dust and everything off the machine. I would imagine if you used some type of vinyl, that it would be, keep moisture off from it too. Like if it was set up somewhere where environment was misty or whatever. So this is basically the front and the back, and you have the outer fabric and then the inner fabric. And so this piece will match this one. And this says, this is the side of it, the side. So I'm not sure. I guess I'll figure it out as I go along, but it's kind of an odd shape. Yeah, this one's a rectangle. So I guess this goes on either end. I don't know. I've never made this pattern. And it's so hilarious that I have all these pins in these old projects. And my pin cushion, as I finish projects, the pin cushion just gets fuller and fuller and fuller. And my little hedgehog and my Ginger scissors have disappeared somewhere. So I'm not going to work on this probably till next week because today and over the weekend, I want to finish the two little girl dresses. So I have all of week one spins done. You also have, it looks like we're going to make our own bias tape. That's what this is for. You see the lines. So there's that continuous bias there. And then this is a little pocket that you put on the front. And You don't think the pockets would be very important as on the cover, but they are a great way to, if you make a bigger pocket, it gives you someplace to store your current project. If you have to clean up, and you want a tidy look, it's nice having that pocket. It really is. So the sewing machine cover will probably be what I work on Monday morning, really early. Let me see here. This pattern has, you see all those, all the things. It's got the valances and curtains. It's got a wall organizer. It's got an ironing board cover. It's got a cover for your sleeve board, which I have a sleeve board. I guess it's not made its way out here yet. The sewing machine cover. Let's see. Cafe curtain. A valance with curtains cut to measurement, provide to fit to widths, a wall organizer, vinyl pockets, ironing board cover, sleeve board cover, sleeve board, purchased, pressing mitt, sewing machine cover, a chair cover, basket liners. Yeah. So it has a bunch of things. There's the little line drawings on the back of everything that's in this pattern. And this was a Waverly pattern from probably, I don't know, 1998. So this has been cut out since 1998, guaranteed. So, sewing machine instructions start over here. And it looks like the first thing you're going to do is do your your continuous bias tape. It shows you how to do that. And then you're going to do the pocket. And you put the pocket on the front of it. Okay, the side pieces, you're going to sew them together end to end, and they go up the side, over the top, and down. Right here, you can see. And you just hook the front to the back. Oh, and they're not even having you turn it, I don't think. They're having you just put the lining inside the outside. Just slide it in, and then you use your continuous bias. So you don't even have to know how to leave an opening in the lining to turn it right side out. Easy peasy. So I will see if I can find that link to the Closet Core sewing machine cover. And we'll do this Monday morning. This will be the project for Monday morning. It probably won't take all day. It'll probably take maybe an hour or two. So we'll work on this on Monday, the sewing machine cover. And I'm going to go see if I can find a link to the freebie pattern so you can print it off, Janet. So it's not very many pieces. And something else, everybody's been, they've been saying, well, you're getting through these so fast. You must be really fast. The thing that takes the most time with sewing is the cutting out, is the alterations. It is all of the stuff that's already done, because this is all cut out and ready to go. So I've done the stuff that takes the longest amount of time in my book. When you get to actually sewing, yeah, it goes really fast. So we'll do this Monday. Hi, Heather. Good morning. And in fact, it kind of looked like they put a pocket on the front and the back of that. But on the one that I'm going to try to get the pattern into the description, the pocket goes across the entire front of it. So it gives you a big roomy pocket, so an entire project can fit in there. I mean, the pattern, the fabric, everything can be slid into that pocket. I am trying to, when I finish one of these projects, I take time, I put everything away, even if I'm going to use it on the next project. I'm just training myself to just put everything back in its place so that I can, the next project will be totally fresh. I put everything away and then I clean the sewing machine. You always want to clean the sewing machine out, meaning you want to take either a vacuum and suck out all the lint that gets down and around the bobbin and the shuttle case, and get a old paintbrush or the brush that comes with the machines and just clean the feed dogs off, because you don't think about it, but those feed dogs that come up and move the fabric along, especially something like flannel, its fibers come off and it builds up in those feed dogs. And if you don't take the time to clean your machine between every project, that can build up and start creating problems. And then you'll start messing with tension, because that's what everybody's tendency is. So always clean the machine between projects. If you start running into problems, rethread everything. Rethread where the bobbin is, rethread the entire top, and then try on a scrap and see if you've got it figured out. Then start worrying about tension and all that stuff, which you should rarely touch the tension on your bobbin side of the whole thing. If you mess with that tension on that bobbin, you can really mess things up. Let's see, what else did I want to say? Sometimes you will have to take the machine apart farther than just cleaning it out. Like on mine, sometimes I have to get the screwdriver out and take the plate off so I can get behind and down inside the machine to get all the lint, dust, and all that kind of stuff that gets pushed down in there when you're sewing. Just take your vacuum and vacuum it out. Do not use canned air, because you can actually blow things farther into the machine where you can't get to it. And that's not good. And just use your vacuum. I had actually bought these adapters where it had like a little thing where I could stick it in, but it never fit any of my vacuums. So I think I finally just got rid of it and just used a regular vacuum and an old paintbrush and just kind of brush things loose so the vacuum can suck it up. And yeah, and keep your sewing machines out of sunlight. It degrades the plastics. It degrades the thread. If you leave thread on the machine, if you use a cover, it elongates the life of everything. Also, after you have sewn a project, you should not sew and sew and sew with a needle. 2 or 3 full projects, then switch your needle and put your old needles into an old pill bottle so that you know those are used needles. Never mix your used needles in with your new needles, because you always want a nice sharp point when you're sewing with wovens, and you always want a nice fresh needle when you're sewing with knits and you use a ballpoint needle. You cannot or should not use a sharp needle on knits because it can snag and put runs in your knits. And I'm trying to shove out some information this morning that I've been thinking about. I was just watching Who's Your Handmade, and she was talking about her Joann's are closing. And she was saying, well, their sales not very great for a closing store. At the closing stores, apparently they're running everything just 25% off, kind of across the board. And what everybody needs to realize is Joann's is trying to rescue itself. So 550 stores are closing. So what they need to do, because they've got that humongous debt that has to be paid, what they have to do is, in the stores that are closing, they still need a margin that will take care of the debt. Okay. So 25% off is not a great sale, but it is still a sale. And if you buy at that rate in the closing stores, you may help rescue the last 300 and something stores. That's my way of thinking. Um, yes, you can go to the stores that are staying open, they have better sales, but the stores that are being sold off to cover the debt is where we need to try to save our little stores that are staying open. Does that make sense to everybody? Because that's my way of thinking. In business, it's all about the margins, okay? So I know in a lot of countries, the sales, in some countries, they don't do sales at all. You pay the price that's on the bolt, that's it. And coupons, you never hear about coupons coming with anybody. Like UK gals, y'all don't get coupons. You get occasionally a sale or a remnant, but it's not like the sales we get here in the US. And a company has to have the margins, that part of their income that pays the debtors, it pays the employees, it pays the taxes, it pays the rent. There is that margin. And when the sale is deeper, that cuts into that margin. So that's when they cut payroll hours and you walk in and there's two people working. So yes, they could have a great sale, but they're cutting themselves short in other areas. I'm not sure if that makes sense to anybody else but me, but having worked at Joann's, I understand, cuts were taken when the margins were increased. So like if you get a sale price, they can only afford to pay two people to be in the building. Does that make sense? So there's a lot to consider. Yes, it's not a great sale at the closing stores, but could we help Joann's by paying just 25% off at those stores and helping them with that debt so we can keep our little guys that are going to stay open? That's a quandary I think everybody needs to think about. It's not always about the great deal. It's about keeping these businesses going if you really want them. Now, another note is, yes, we're losing like 550 Joann stores. Okay. I want everybody to really look around them. Do you have a small fabric store that you've never utilized and it's a family-owned store that's local? Wouldn't it be better to start helping them grow and stay in business? Because we're losing so many businesses. And it's not just the fabric stores. Restaurants are closing. And, we had a Red Lobster up the road for decades, okay? It closed recently. I know that they did not change as the clientele changed. And so they were staying geared toward the 50 and up crowd. And so they weren't doing things to encourage the 50 and below crowd to come in. So they're gone. So that's one seafood restaurant gone. Okay. Then just not far up the same road, we lost a Mexican restaurant. But they closed, and now we're getting like 2 or 3 new Mexican restaurants, which is awesome. So I want you to also consider this. Our Hispanic neighbors that are moving here for a better opportunity are opening businesses that create taxes being paid into your local communities that pay for your police, your fire department, your emergency rescue. Taxes are what pay for our public service folks. And don't you think the public service, the police, the firemen, the mailmen, all of those guys, they deserve a good living wage too. And to have a family coming from Mexico and opening a business that puts out jobs, provides delicious food and pays taxes, I have no problem with that. I cheer them on. They work hard. They send money back to their families that have nothing in Mexico, and I don't have a problem with that. I look out for my family, and I think most people do. But anyway, that's as far as I'm going into that. Um, Off to the bleachers. Hi, Lala. So I'll get off that, and yeah, please start looking close. And I know I have a tiny little fabric store. She doesn't carry a ton, and she mostly focuses on um, costume type fabrics or um, high end designer type gown fabrics. So she gears more to or the theatrical club or the theaters here, but she has cottons. She has different fabrics in there. So check her out. I believe she's still open. I'm bad. I have not been over to shop there in quite a while. I need to go over and buy a couple yards every now and then just to keep her going if we lose all of the Joann stores. Um, Walmart, I don't like the quality of their fabric, and I don't shop Hobby Lobby anymore. I have my reasons. And I think that's about all I'm going to say. Yeah, and another thing about retail is I have to agree with my niece that in less than 10 years, we're not going to see box stores, meaning physical stores. It's all going to be online because that's just how everything's going. Um, you go to a well, you can order it online and pick it up in the store. Well, the reason I go to the store is because I don't want to wait for it. Happens with the parts stores and that kind of thing. So look out for your little stores in your towns or nearby. I know Mary's got a little quilt shop that she tries to shop at. Little stores like that. Yes, we have several little quilt stores that does open up an opportunity for cotton fabrics, because that's what you use for um, quilting is the cotton fabric. So I do have that option, and that's what I need for the little girl dresses anyway. There is another shop not far from my little Joann's called Creative Sewing Center, and I know she also sells fabrics, but again, her prices are a little higher. She doesn't have she doesn't do the sales like Joann's does, but then she's a privately owned business. She probably doesn't have much in the way of that margins to play with. So I need to stop in there more. And Scott was just telling me that there's actually a quilt group that meets there and that I might want to check into that since I'm going to try to start finishing up some of these tops that I have. So, hey, Mike. Good morning. Thank you. So I'm going to quit harping on the state of the retail. A sewist, and I consider myself a sewist. Some people say, "Oh, you're much more than that," but I just sew, and I do love sewing, and I'm really enjoying this whole spinning of the wheel to decide what I sew next, because it takes I don't have to go to my bin and say, "Oh, what do I want to sew?" I just spin the dial and it says you're sewing. So that is why I'm getting all these projects done. All right. Thank you for stopping in, Mike. And the projects that I no longer have littles for that were sewn for nieces and nephews that are now teenagers and in their 20s having kids of their not the teenagers but the 20-year-olds And so they're having little ones of themselves. The little boy jammies, I might see if my niece Kayla wants these for her two little guys. I can't remember the second baby's name. The first baby's name was Kane, and it's another C or a K name because it's Kayla and Kenny have Kane and is it Caden? I don't know. I don't remember the second baby's name. So thank you. Thank you, Heather. Yeah, I wish I had, Lala, I wish I had a local yarn shop like we used to have. There is a yarn shop over near my sister's, but they sell only the really high end stuff from like Scotland, real wool, and it's like $45 a skein. And this cheap girl says, so I guess my yarn will end up having to come from Goodwills where other people have paid too much for something and then grandma passed it away and then Becky lucks out. So yeah. And my knitting project, I have decided I'm going to pull it back off my knitting needles, and I want to get into my stash and get some bulky yarn because I decided I do want this to fit me. And then this is working up too small. So I'm just going to pull it off here. And I'm going to shop my stash. It's going to be this yarn, this Red Heart Bitsy Stripes is going to be beautiful knit up. But to make something with this, I need 3 more skeins of this same yarn. And since they're having trouble getting it, I don't know if I'll be able to get 3 more skeins in this colorway. It's called Sunset Beach. It's just a beautiful, it looks like sunset at the beach. And I would love this poncho cover up type thing. Let me get rid of that because that plastic's making too much noise. But I think in my stash, I have some bulky, thick yarn in a red velvet. And I thought that made in the red velvet because I think Mary too sent me a bunch of bulky yarns a while back. And I do want to use that up. So today's project will be the jacket for this dress. And then I have another entire dress and jacket cut out. So there'll be 2 exactly alike. I think they're both size 8. So yeah. All right. Oh, Angie's going back to bed. Sorry I didn't see you to just now, Angie. So I'm going to let you guys go. And good luck to Mary getting her freebie law books today. And everybody else, try to stay warm because it's in the 20s here in South Carolina. And that's too cold for me. I moved south for a reason. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.